They walked down the alley laughing, a family of three. 60 seconds later, only the boy was still breathing. No witnesses. No mercy. Just two bodies and a broken silence. He didn't cry. He didn't run. He stared at the blood and made a promise. Not for revenge, for something colder. If fear is what took them from me, then fear is what I'll become. 10 years passed. Gotham changed. But the boy did not. Now criminals whisper about something in the shadows. No powers, no name. But if you ask the right people, they'll say, the Batman is real. The opera ended at 9:17 p.m. The laughter still echoed through the theater doors as the Waynes stepped out. Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne, and their son Bruce, only 8 years old, dressed in a little black suit and red bow tie. He didn't want to walk through the alley, but it was quicker, and the limo was parked at the other end. That alley had no name, just graffiti, shadows, and a broken streetlight that flickered like a dying heartbeat. Then came the voice. Wallet, watch, and the lady's necklace. A man stepped out. Worn coat. Mask pulled low. Hands shaking around a rusted pistol. Bruce's father raised his hand calmly. Easy. Just take it. The gun fired. Once. Then again. Echoes bounced off brick walls. Bruce didn't scream. He fell to his knees between the two bodies, his mother's pearls still rolling across the wet concrete. He stared at the blood as it crept across the pavement toward his shoes. He never saw the man's face, never knew the name, but he remembered one thing. The killer was afraid, shaking, rushed, running. And that's when Bruce realized something terrifying and powerful. Fear kills faster than bullets. The city moved on. Bruce didn't. The media called it a tragedy. The police called it another mugging. But Bruce sat in silence. He stopped speaking, stopped playing. He stared at shadows, stared at crows, stared at the places the light didn't reach. Alfred, the family's butler, tried to comfort him. But Bruce didn't want comfort. He wanted an answer. Why? Why them? Why that alley? Why was the man afraid? And why, in that moment, did Bruce feel something worse than sadness? He felt powerless. Years passed. The mansion stayed quiet. The boy became a ghost. By 13, Bruce was already reading books on criminal psychology. By 15, he had learned lockpicking and escape tactics from former MI6 agents Alfred quietly hired. But it wasn't enough. Books don't make you strong, Bruce said one night. Pain does. Then came the cave. He was 17. A storm hit Gotham harder than usual. The power cut out. Bruce wandered deeper into the estate's forgotten tunnels, chasing a noise. He slipped, fell for what felt like forever, landed in darkness. And then, wings, hundreds, screaming, surrounding him. Bats, thousands of them. They didn't attack. They circled him. And Bruce, bloodied and shivering in the dirt, stared up at the cave ceiling and finally understood. They don't fear me because they don't know me. But I can make the world know fear. The same fear that ended my parents. That night wasn't the birth of a hero. It was the creation of a mission. A promise in stone. Criminals are a cowardly, superstitious lot. I will become what they fear. He vanished the next day. No goodbyes. No press release. Just a silent exit. The world thought Bruce Wayne ran away. The headlines called him reckless. But he wasn't running. He was training. 5 years. He trained with the League of Shadows in the Himalayas, learning how to disappear. He learned pressure points in Bangkok, psychological warfare in Russia, surveillance in Berlin. He studied fear not to avoid it, but to master it. He let himself be beaten, broken, starved, and hunted. Because every time his body screamed to quit, his mind repeated one phrase. Never again. He came back at 23. Different, sharper, stronger, quieter. No one recognized him. Not the board at Wayne Enterprises, not the butlers, not even the police commissioner. He didn't need them to. He needed a symbol. One night it found him. He stood in his study, thinking, staring through a cracked window. Then, through the glass, a shadow crossed the moon. A bat. It crashed through the window. Glass scattered. Blood dripped from his forehead. But he didn't flinch. He smiled. Yes, I will become a bat. The rest? Design, discipline, obsession. He reinforced the abandoned cave under the estate, installed forensics labs, surveillance systems, gear testing platforms. He didn't build weapons. He built fear. Smoke bombs, grapple hooks, gliders, armor, gear designed not to kill, but to haunt, to make criminals question if their next step would be their last. But he didn't go out yet. He studied Gotham first, its alleys, its gangs, its corruption. He mapped police patrol gaps. He listened to scanners. Then, finally, one night, a girl went missing. No leads. No witnesses. Cops had already moved on. But Bruce hadn't. He followed the noise. Found the abandoned building. 6 men, armed, laughing. Then the lights went out. They say the power just vanished. The thugs heard something. Footsteps? Wings? A growl? One screamed. Then silence. When the police finally arrived, the girl was safe, untouched. The 6 men? Tied to the rafters. Bruised. Broken. And on the floor, in white chalk, a bat symbol. The city didn't understand it. Was it a man? A ghost? A curse? Gotham wasn't ready for a hero. But it was about to get something better. A warning. By the time Gotham whispered his name, he was already 3 steps ahead. No interviews. No cape-waving speeches. No superhero smiles. Just broken jaws. Empty guns. Bat-shaped scars carved into the nightmares of criminals. And nobody knew who he was. Not the cops. Not the press. Not even the people he saved. Because Batman wasn't meant to be seen. He was meant to be felt. The first suit was simple. Black reinforced plating. Lightweight. No emblem yet. He didn't care about branding. He wanted movement, silence, invisibility. The mask? Inspired by the bat that broke through his window. The ears? Not for show. They hid antennae that intercepted police signals. If I want to stop crime, I need to hear it before it happens. And the cave, no longer just a hiding place, was now a war room. He called it the Shadow Protocol. Every night had purpose. Every street had a pattern. He documented gang shifts, crooked cops, city blind spots. He didn't fight crime randomly. He hunted it strategically. But Gotham didn't want a savior. It wanted a spectacle. The mayor called him a mass terrorist. The police commissioner ordered a task force to capture the Batman. And still, Bruce worked in silence. Because it wasn't about headlines. It was about a promise made in an alley long ago. I will never let another child sit beside their parents' bodies and feel nothing but silence. But promises come with cost. Bruce bled. A lot. He cracked ribs in a rooftop fight with armed smugglers. Took a bullet through the shoulder during a rescue mission in the Narrows. But he always stitched himself back together. Alfred begged him to slow down. "You're still human," the old man said. "That's the point," Bruce whispered. "They need to see what a human can become when he's got nothing left to lose." The Batmobile came next. A hybrid between military speed and urban stealth. Armored but sleek. Loud when it had to be. Silent when it mattered most. He built it in pieces, hidden in Wayne Tekka's black budget projects. Signed off under code names no one questioned. Codename, Project Wraith. And still, the symbol wasn't ready. He didn't feel he'd earned it yet. But then came the ghost case. A girl, 10 years old, gone, left behind, a note written in lipstick on a mirror. She'll be smiling forever. 3 days. No leads. No demands. Police gave up. But Bruce didn't. He traced lipstick brands. Found a match at an abandoned dental office downtown. Inside, horror. Dozens of mannequin heads lined up, each wearing wax masks of children's faces. And, at the center, the man himself. The mask maker. He didn't fight like a thug. He was surgical. Fast. Sick in the mind. And he knew Batman was coming. They fought inside a twisted funhouse of mirrors, voices echoing, illusions blending. Bruce lost control, nearly beaten to death. But he remembered what the mask maker said. You wear a mask because you're weak underneath it. And that's when Bruce did something insane. He removed his mask mid-fight to see the man with his own eyes. Not as Batman. As Bruce Wayne, the boy who lost everything. And with one punch, he ended it. That night, for the first time, he carved the bat symbol into his chest armor. Not to be feared, but to remind himself what he became. And why. Gotham woke up confused. Masked criminals disappeared. Mob bosses stopped showing up. The symbol began appearing at crime scenes. Painted, burned, etched in steel. People began to whisper. The bat doesn't kill, but he never lets you forget. And Gotham started changing. But with change comes resistance. The underworld formed a coalition, a bounty on Batman's head. $5 million, dead or alive. Enter Crossfire, ex-Special Forces, Sniper, Tracker, Ruthless. He made it personal. Shot a bullet into Alfred's car. Missed him by inches. That was the line. Bruce didn't wait. He hunted Crossfire down in less than 36 hours. Used his own traps against him. Tied him to the GCPD roof with a note. Next one who touches my family disappears. Gotham's fear turned to belief. A myth became movement. Kids wore paper bat masks. Graffiti across walls said, he's watching. The police still denied his help. But sometimes the lights on their cruisers would blink twice. His signal to act. They didn't trust him, but they needed him. One night, Alfred stood beside him as Bruce stared over the city from the rooftop. You've changed this place, Alfred said. No, Bruce replied. I've just reminded them what it could be. He pressed a button. Lights cut across the sky. A giant bat symbol projected against the clouds. He spoke, not to Alfred, but to the city. I'm not your hero. I'm your consequence. I'm the answer to what happens when the system fails. I am the shadow. I am the warning. I am Batman. The bat symbol was in the sky now. It wasn't a myth anymore. It was a message. To the criminals, you're being hunted. To the innocent, you're not alone anymore. To the city, you failed. I won't. But not everyone took it as hope. The mayor, backed by elite donors and corporate sharks, stepped in front of cameras the next morning. Gotham will not be ruled by mass thugs. This Batman is a threat to our justice system, not a partner. The commissioner, pressured by media and politics, had no choice. As of today, the GCPD is ordered to arrest the masked vigilante operating in our streets. Use of force is authorized. The war on Batman had begun, but Bruce didn't flinch. He expected this. When you shine light in a broken city, the rats scream first. Still, he needed to adapt. No more public scenes. No more roof drops in front of cameras. He switched tactics. Nocturnal raids. Silent takedowns. Fear as a shadow, not as a symbol. Meanwhile, the underworld was evolving. Crime lords like Falcone and Maroni were losing money, fast. Weapons shipments were intercepted. Drug houses shut down. Couriers vanished. They stopped seeing Batman as a myth and started treating him as an enemy. So they hired one, the Reaper, former mercenary. No mask, just a skull-like faceplate and a voice like gravel. He didn't believe in theatrics, just kills. And his first target? A rooftop where Batman had just left a known informant. Boom. The entire building collapsed. 3 dead. The press blamed Batman. The GCPD blamed Batman. But Bruce knew the truth. Someone wants me seen as the villain. Inside Wayne Tower, Bruce shifted his mask. He pushed Lucius Fox to fast-track upgrades. A reinforced cape that could harden mid-glide. EMP spikes that could disable cameras and drones. A new suit, matte black, anti-radar, heat-diffused. Not flashy. Predatory. If they're going to call me a monster, Bruce told Alfred, I'll show them what kind. The next move came fast. The Reaper kidnapped the daughter of a judge, someone who had refused to throw out a mob case. He left a single clue, a red Joker card burned into her school bag. But this wasn't the Joker. Not yet. This was distraction. Chaos. Batman tracked the real trail, not the card, and found the girl locked inside a refrigeration unit in the docks. She was alive. Barely. He carried her out silently. Cradled her. No cameras. No applause. Just her voice, whispering. "Are you going to hurt the bad guys?" Bruce didn't speak. He just nodded. That moment went viral. A blurry photo. Batman carrying the child in his arms, walking alone through fire. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag, the bat saved her. Hashtag, Gotham has a guardian. Hashtag, Dark Knight not criminal. Public opinion began to shift. The city didn't trust the cops anymore. They trusted him. But the GCPD couldn't afford to look weak, so they planned an ambush. An informant tipped them off. Batman would be meeting with an undercover cop on the old Gotham Bridge. Snipers were placed. The trap was set. And Bruce knew it. He went anyway. Because the undercover cop had real intel, and lives were at stake. He arrived under the cover of fog. Then lights on. Sirens. Guns up. Dozens of SWAT officers encircled him. The cop screamed, "You set me up. They're not here for you. They're here to kill you." Bruce dropped a smoke pellet, used ultrasonic disruption to blind scopes, glided under the bridge, and vanished before the first trigger pulled. That night, a message appeared across every news feed. Video. Night vision. Batman's silhouette. "You tried to trap me while children were being taken across town. You work for politics. I work for justice. Next time you pull a weapon on me, ask who's really pulling the strings behind you." The GCPD was divided. Some hated him. Others started rooting for him. The city was changing, in ways even Bruce hadn't planned. Copycats emerged. Teens in masks patrolling neighborhoods. Groups painting bat symbols near crime zones. It wasn't safe, and Bruce knew it. He didn't want fans. He wanted order. So he started leaving messages at crime scenes. "Don't follow me. Don't copy me. I'm not a hero. I'm your reminder." But something was building beneath Gotham. Something darker. Because in the shadows, a laugh was forming. A twisted voice, watching the fear grow. A man who dresses like a bat and calls it justice? Oh, I can work with that. Bruce didn't know it yet. But his war on crime had just invited a new kind of evil. One that wouldn't play by rules. One that didn't want money or power. One that wanted to break the bat just for fun. And all across Gotham, one phrase began to echo in alleyways, whispered by gangs, dealers, and corrupt cops alike. If Batman's real, what else is? Fear was no longer working. Criminals weren't running. They were adapting. And someone was teaching them how. Bruce first noticed it in the pattern. A sudden drop in petty crime, followed by a rise in organized, calculated chaos. Explosives in police lockers. Kids going missing from clean neighborhoods. Each time, a different gang took credit. But the signature was always the same. A single black rose, left near the scene. And one whispered message on every victim's phone. "Smile. He's watching." Alfred noticed it first. "You're slipping," he told Bruce. "You've been fighting shadows for so long, you missed the man standing in them." That man was Eli Strike, a former Arkham psychiatrist turned underground cult leader. To the public, he was a mental health advocate. To Gotham's criminals, he was known only as the Mask Maker. He didn't kill with bullets. He killed with ideas. Turned orphans into followers. Turned fear into fuel. And now he was hunting children. It started with a boy named Jamie, 8 years old. Vanished walking home from school. No ransom. No note. No leads. Just one clue. A crudely painted bat symbol scratched into Jamie's wall, upside down. A taunt. Batman found the boy's backpack in an abandoned wax museum. Inside a phone. Video file. 1 minute long. It showed Jamie smiling. Unharmed. Calm. Then a voice behind the camera said, "He's safe for now. But I wonder, Bats, how many lives must be twisted before you realize you're the villain?" Bruce clenched his jaw. He had faced monsters. But this wasn't rage. This wasn't greed. This was performance. He went to the streets. Interrogated gangs. Pressed the underground. Each one said the same thing. We don't cross the mask maker. Not even you should. But Batman did. He tracked the signal to Gotham's old film district, condemned for 20 years. Inside, the smell of wax and gasoline. Mannequins with smiling faces sat in old cinema chairs. All identical. All wrong. In the front row, Jamie. Still alive. Still calm. But wearing a wax mask. Then came the voice. Over speakers. All around him. You wear a mask to forget pain. I give masks to make them permanent. Let's play Batman. The floor gave way. Gas. Lights. Noise. Hallucination gas. Not scarecrows, but worse. Laced with voice triggers and subconscious implants. Bruce's vision twisted. He saw his parents. Dead. He saw Gotham burning. And himself on the throne. He screamed. And it echoed like laughter. You think you're saving them, the mask maker whispered, but you're making them need you. But then, Jamie screamed, and it cut through the hallucination like a blade. Bruce broke free, heart pounding, found Jamie, ripped off the mask, held him tight. You're safe now. I promise. The building burned behind them as he carried the boy out. Cameras caught it. The city watched it live. That night, Bruce stood on the tallest rooftop in Gotham, silent, shaken, but still standing. Alfred appeared behind him. You saved him, he said. Bruce didn't respond. His eyes stared into the fog. Then he said, this city doesn't need a hero. It needs a wall between the innocent and what's coming. Tonight I almost broke, but that boy didn't. He smiled at the end, and that means I'm not done. Next night, the bat symbol shone twice as bright, and in the alley where Jamie had vanished, a new message appeared, spray-painted across the wall. Fear doesn't win. Not while I breathe. Gotham didn't sleep anymore. It waited. For sirens. For screams. For the shadow they used to fear, but now hoped would appear. And on the rooftops above it all, a man stood watching. Not a god. Not a soldier. Just a man with a mission. A man they now called the Batman. After saving Jamie from the mask maker, something shifted. The criminals still ran, but the citizens began to rise. They guarded their neighborhoods, reported traffickers, lit alleyways with bat-shaped lanterns, not out of worship, out of belief. But that belief came with danger. Batman's enemies evolved. No longer scared, now obsessed. They stopped wanting to kill him. They wanted to break him. That's when it happened. A message was carved into a courthouse wall. Bring me the bat, or watch the city burn. The letters were made of teeth. A signature no one had seen before, except Bruce. He had seen it in Arkham files. Once. Classified. Marked red level. A new player had arrived. No name. Just a nickname whispered by the mad. The clown without a punchline. He sent no demands. No rules. Just chaos. Buses rigged with confetti bombs. Playgrounds turned into trapdoors. Children given candies with razor-thin microblades inside. And every crime scene had a twisted version of Batman's logo, flipped upside down. Painted green. Bruce had faced warlords, mercenaries, serial killers. But this was different. This one laughed while Gotham bled. And for the first time, Bruce questioned his mission. What if I've invited worse than I can handle? What if I've created this? Alfred spoke only once that night. He placed Bruce's original mask on the table. Scarred, faded, heavy. You didn't create this madness, Alfred said. But you gave the innocent something madness hates, hope. Bruce nodded. No speeches. Just action. He went underground. No tech. No suit. Just the mask, a few tools, and the will to finish what he started. He tracked the clown through sewer tunnels, abandoned arcades, chemical plants. Each path led to booby traps and laughter. And then, finally, a child's voice over an old speaker. You made me smile, Batman. Now I'll make them scream. Bruce moved fast, broke through a hidden hatch, found 5 children wired to a rotating carnival ride with explosive collars. In the center, a chair, empty, with a ticking box on top. The box said, sit. or they die. Bruce sat. The ride stopped. The children cried. Collars released. And as they ran out the door, boom, the chair exploded, but Batman was gone. Smoke cleared. He emerged from flames, suit torn, mask cracked, arm bleeding. But alive. Barely. The next day, the news exploded. Batman saves 5 kids against impossible odds. Is he even human? Gotham's demon is our guardian angel. Bruce stood on the GCPD rooftop that night. Commissioner James Gordon approached silently. No guns. No handcuffs. Just respect. You're still a problem, you know, Gordon said. Bruce didn't respond. Just stared out at the city. Then Gordon pointed to the new spotlight shining in the sky. A perfect bat signal. Not a trap, he said. Just in case we need you again. Bruce stepped into the light. The wind tugged at his cape. His scars burned. But his eyes stayed sharp. Then he spoke, not loudly, not boldly, but clearly. I'm not a hero. I'm what stands between this city and the things it's too afraid to face. I'm the reminder that fear can belong to the wicked too. I wasn't made for peace. I was born from pain. I am Batman. The symbol rose above Gotham. No longer a warning. Now a promise.